Well, listeners, welcome back to Subculture on centralcoastradio.com. We know that you are a huge fans of Fanny Lumsden because we have been playing her music over the past few years and you have kept on requesting more and more tracks. Well, there is a new track that we're about to play for the first time in just a moment, but we thought we would also get Fanny on the phone today to chat about not only her new album, but also about her tour that is about to kick off. And she's just played at Glastonbury as well, so we will talk to her a little bit about that. But without any other further ado, welcome to the program, Fanny.
Hello, thanks for having me.
No problem. Now, like I said, our listeners have fallen in love with your music over the past few years, and I know that they are going to love Ugly Flowers, which we are about to play, because it is one of the most beautiful tracks I think I've heard this year. So could you tell us a little bit about this amazing track and what inspired it?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think, I just to start, I write my songs really, like I write the song and then I work out what it's about after. But I think over the last few years, it's like I've had a combination of the fact that I've got my own kids now, and my parents are stepping up into the grandparent role, and it's just that generational shift. And I'm kind of been witnessing that, and I've also been talking to my parents about stories that we were told when you were kids. And I think that when you're told stories as a kid, they kind of define you as who you are, all those stories. And I just really love the fact that when you get told those stories again when you're older, they completely change shape and they change color. But the fact still remains that you are who you are because of those original stories. And so I kind of wanted to explore that a little bit. And I think there's no better way to tell a story than using really specific weird details, the fact my family had 7 different cakes on the table when we'd all come together to celebrate someone's birthday. So yeah, I just wanted to create something like that. And then everyone in my family also plays the piano, so that's why we chose to have piano on there. And I just wanted it to be a quiet little moment of love and reflection and a bit of hope and nostalgia.
You must have an amazing memory of some of those things that happened, because those lines when you're describing what the church was like on that day, you feel like you're right there with you when you're listening to that.
Yeah, I think there's just things in your life that really stick with you. And I really like writing with a sense of place, and I feel like that's how I tell stories. And so, yeah, but I definitely those few moments, talking about those occasions we would go to that little tiny church in those tiny, the tiny village near where I grew up. Sorry. And I just, definitely remember it being 40 degrees, and there was lino in the little room at the side, and my sister and I would lie down there and put our faces on the cold lino to try and cool down. But yeah, I like being specific, really specific with details in songs, because I find I like that when I'm listening to a song. It feels like something you can grab onto.
Are you a prolific songwriter? Do you find yourself writing a lot? Because, like I said, we've grown to love your music over the years, and it always feels like you've got new music coming out. Are you a prolific writer?
I used to be, more so just because now I have 2 little kids and I'm running a business and we're running the tour and I'm our manager, and there's lots of stuff going on externally, so I don't really have the luxury of time of if I just feel like picking up the guitar and writing. I think if I did allow myself the time, I would write every day. I love writing, and I love writing songs and building worlds and stories and stuff. And I suppose it's just now time limited. But I think I would if I could.
Now, with the brand new album as well, Hey Dawn, tell us a little bit about some of the other things that inspired the tracks on that album. Is it just life itself, or was there more reminiscing of memories from the past?
Look, I think it's this was written through the last few years. This record, obviously, post-COVID era, when we were touring and traveling around Australia. Excuse me, and I think I tried to just do a little bit of living, and a little bit, I love reading books and I love listening to people's stories, and it's things that stick with you that often like pop out in my songs because, like I said, I don't really go into songwriting thinking I'm going to write a song about this. It usually kind of happens and I realize what it's about after. So I find I have to just like be living a life as well to make sure that I can tell stories about the things I want to tell stories and talk about it and, have lots of good conversations with people and listening to stories and podcasts as well. Can't even remember the question was now. I'm just like...
Yeah, it was just about the other inspirations on the album. Like, yeah.
So definitely stories. Like, I think we drove around Australia a couple of years ago in 2021 accidentally, really. We were touring and then had to, like, because of borders and different things, we ended up driving to Darwin and then we got stuck up there and then we drove home via WA and that's a lot of time on the road. Like, that's a really, really long way. And so we had a lot of time on the road and I find that that's the time where I can process kind of stories and think about things and I get very inspired when I'm driving and traveling. So, I think that gave me time to process the stories that I'd been told and witnessed and listened to over the time.
Now, talking of travelling, you recently went across to the UK. You got to play at Glastonbury, but you also got to play 3 shows in Ireland and also another show in Camden. Tell us a little bit about that journey. What was it like playing at Glastonbury and what was it like playing in Ireland as well?
It was nuts. Glastonbury is just, it's such a bucket list for every band, and I just didn't ever think that would be possible for a band like an artist like me, like from regional Australia, who plays in country halls. So it was just really mind blowing and really surreal experience. It was beautiful. The audiences were just like, they're just so excited and happy and open and generous to they didn't know who we are, but there were some people that were there to see us, but most of them just were new and they just were packed the tent out and had a really fun time with us, and I was just really blown away by that kind of generosity and just overall zest for getting into things. So that was amazing. We played on the same stage as Mel C from the Spice Girls. That is insane. And then, we got off stage and then 2 hours later, the Foo Fighters played. So,
yeah.
I mean, it was just a real highlight of my career so far. And we were just so grateful to get to do it. And I was so grateful to get to do it with my band. I took my whole band over. And it was just really special. And I'm so glad I did that. And then, we jumped in some of the band went home and then we just did a 4-piece tour, but also had 2 kids with us and a nanny. So we hopped in the tour van packed to the roof and went over to Ireland and played 3 shows over there. And they just were amazing. They sold the shows out. They were so energetic and just again, really open to artists they didn't know. And they loved the stories. I didn't change anything about how I sing or tell stories, or I told all of the same things, all of the Australianisms in it. And they just laughed it up. So I was just I suppose just music just really is in the blood over there and in their culture, and you could really feel it and it felt very special. So yeah, and then playing in London was the same. It was just it's exciting. We're definitely going to go back and tour a lot more over there now because it just went down so well. So it was an exciting time.
Awesome. And of course you've got your Australian tour kicking off as well, and I'm so glad that you're going to places like Tassie, because as someone who spent a lot of time in Tassie as a child, you used to miss out on all of the tours. So tell us a little bit about that tour. How excited are you about being able to go right around Australia once again?
It's like I said, it's the part where I feel the most alive. I think that playing live anywhere is just this really human experience. You have to be really present and in the moment, and you get to do it as this collective, and it just feels really electric and something that you can't really do if you think about it. It's not something that you have to be planning for or anything. It's just you just have to be there, and I think that allows for really magic moments to happen. So I really love playing live so much. And then, to be able to take it to places that don't, you usually get the regular touring, that's how we do it. That's how we've always done it. That's how we tour. And there's people everywhere that love music, and it also makes it interesting for us, getting to travel and see different places.
So there you go, listeners. There is no excuse for you to miss Fanny on this tour. All of the tour dates and ticket information are up on our website, and make sure you go out and grab a copy of Hey Dawn as well. But right now on our show, we are going to play Ugly Flowers for the first time. So Fanny, is there anything you'd like to say to all of our listeners out there before they take a listen to this amazing track and before they go out and grab tickets for your shows as well?
Just say thanks, and thanks for jumping on board and being part of this crazy music circus life that I get to lead and that we all get to share together. And thanks for all your stories. And if you are coming to the shows, we have this really cool thing where we're doing a story booth out near the merch desk where you can go in and record your stories in our story booth, so I can then have a listen to them later. And I just think that is going to be really cool. So make sure you jump into the story booth and yeah, pre-order the album, and thanks for being a part of it all.